I'm going to share with you the tradition from the school of the Caliphs in their books that are authentic, considered authentic. The 6 books. I'm going to choose at least 4 of them and show you how these books narrate hadiths from the Prophet, peace be upon him, regarding the coming of Al-Imam Al-Mahdi. So let's go with book number 1, and that is Sahih Al-Bukhari 282, page 282. Sahih Al-Bukhari, كتاب أحاديث الأنبياء, صحيح البخاري. عن أبي هريرة. Abu Huraira narrates the hadith. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كيف أنتم إذا نزل ابن مريم فيكم وإمامكم منكم. How do you feel? How do you feel when Son of Mary is going to descend among you, and the Imam is one of you, meaning the Imam is one of the Muslim leaders. Though Jesus is Muslim too, he's a Muslim, but he would not be the Imam. Jesus would be an aide, a senior aide, a lieutenant to the Imam. So the Prophet is telling his companions here. Muslim in page 704, Muslim ibn al-Hajjaj al-Qushayri al-Naysaburi from Naysabur. Muslim also in 704 narrates the same hadith, same report on behalf of Abu Huraira. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم كيف أنتم إذا نزل ابن مريم فيكم وإمامكم منكم. How do you feel when the Son of Mary is going to descend among you and the Imam is one of you, minkum, from your community, meaning from the Muslim community, from the descendants of the Prophet. And then he repeats the same hadith. And then he says, Muslim, there is another hadith. سمع جابر بن عبد الله يقول سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول لا تزال طائفة من أمتي يقاتلون على الحق ظاهرين إلى يوم القيامة. قال فينزل. Jesus, a group of my community, the Prophet says, they fight for justice till the day of judgment. They don't give up. They are always on the truth, on the path of truth and justice, and they fight for the truth till the day of judgment. Then Jesus is going to descend. فينزل عيسى بن مريم عليه الصلاة والسلام فيقول أميرهم, the leader of the Muslims at that time, تعال صل لنا, come and pray with us. فيقول لا. صل لنا means you lead the prayers. Jesus is going to say no. إن بعضكم على بعض أمراء تكرمة الله هذه الأمة. Jesus is going to say, I'm not going to lead the prayers. One of you should lead the prayers. And that's a reference to Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. We come to Sunan Abu Dawud, Sunan Abi Dawud as-Sajistani from Sajistan. Here, أول كتاب المهدي. He has a chapter, whole chapter called Kitab al-Mahdi. He dedicated Abu Dawud in his Sahih, in his book, a whole chapter to speak about Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam. He says, عن جابر بن سمرة قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول لا يزال هذا الدين قائما حتى يكون عليكم 12 خليفة. The Prophet says this religion is going to continue and you going to have a 12 Khalifa successor. How many Khalifas we have in the school of Ahlul Bayt? 12 who succeeded the Prophet. And this is not the first time in these books of Hadith. I can share with you in the future, in almost all the books of Hadith, the Prophet repeats this sentence, this tradition, that 12 people are going to succeed me. 12, not 4, not 6, not 8, 12. And that is what we believe in the school of Ahlul Bayt. And here he says, عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لو لم يبق من الدنيا إلا يوم. If only one day is left of this life, لطول الله ذلك اليوم. God is going to prolong that day. حتى يبعث رجلا مني. He will send a man from me, the Prophet says, a man from me. أو من أهل بيتي. from me or from my family. يواطئ اسمه اسمي. His name is like my name. The name of Imam al-Mahdi is Muhammad al-Mahdi. His first name is Muhammad al-Mahdi. And then يملأ الأرض قسطا وعدلا كما ملئت ظلما وجورا. This man is going to fill earth with equity, with justice, as it had been filled with iniquity, injustice, and injustice. The other hadith, Hadith Sufyan, لا تذهب أو لا تنقضي الدنيا. This life is not going to end unless حتى يملك العرب رجل من أهل بيتي يواطئ اسمه اسمي. A man is going to lead. Of course here says the Arab, but the leadership of Imam al-Mahdi is universal. It's not for the Arabs only, for the entire universe, Arabs and non-Arabs. And يواطئ اسمه, his name is similar to my name. Another hadith, لو لم يبق من الدهر إلا يوم لبعث الله رجلا من أهل بيتي يملأه عدلا كما ملئ الظلمة. Same substance. The Prophet says if only one day is left, God still will send a man who is going to fill this earth with peace and justice. عن سلمة. This is interesting, my friends. عن سلمة قالت سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول المهدي من عترتي من ولد فاطمة. The Mahdi is from my descendants, from the children of Fatima. Fatima to Zahra alayhi salam. This is here, Abu Dawud. Then let's go to Ibn Majah al-Qazwini. Ibn Majah in the book of Al-Fitan, Babu Khuruj al-Mahdi. Also he dedicated a whole chapter for the reappearance and the coming of Imam al-Mahdi. And he says, Al-Mahdi minna. Al-Mahdi minna. Al Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Al-Mahdi minna. Mahdi from us. Ahl al-Bayt. He's from the family of the Prophet. يُصْلِحُهُ اللَّهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ. May God send him within one night. He might come as a surprise. You don't have to wait through a few weeks, few months, or a few years. All of a sudden the change could happen. يُصْلِحُهُ اللَّهُ فِي لَيْلَةٍ. God will prepare him to come in one night. The Prophet says, سمعت رسول الله عن أنس ibn Malik. Anas is the companion of the Prophet. سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يقول نحن ولد عبد المطلب. We are the descendant of Abd al-Muttalib, who's the grandfather of the Prophet. سادة أهل الجنة. We are the masters of paradise. أنا, the Prophet says أنا, وحمزة, his uncle Hamza, وعلي, Ali ibn Abi Talib, وجعفر, the brother of Ali, والحسن, والحسين, والمهدي. We are the masters of paradise. Then there is something very important here. Ibn Majah narrates on behalf of Abdullah, and Alqama and Abdullah. بينما نحن عند رسول الله. He says, while we were sitting next to the Prophet, a group of young men of Bani Hashim arrived. When the Prophet saw them, he started crying. We saw the tears in his eyes. We said, Ya Rasulullah, ما نزال نرى في وجهك شيئا نكرهه. It's sad for us when we see you crying. Why are you crying? Why you have tears in your eyes? The Prophet said, فقال إن أهل بيت اختار الله لنا الآخرة على الدنيا. We are a household that God has chose the hereafter for us above this life. Meaning, our goal is not this life. Our goal and our last destination is the hereafter. وَإِنَّ أَهْلَ بَيْتِي. This is very important. My family, verily my family, سَيَلْقُونَ بَعْدِي بَلَاءً وَتَشْرِيدًا وَتَطْرِيدًا. My family are going to suffer after me persecution, killing, and diaspora. تطريدا, they live in the diaspora. Do you know the children of the Prophet, because of the persecution, Bani Hashim, because of the persecution after the Prophet by the political establishment, especially during the Umayyad time, they had to flee as far as China, as far as India, the Indian subcontinent, China. There are Sayyids now, Sayyids, who are in China, in India, in Africa, in Persia. Those had to leave their home Medina because of persecution. So the Prophet was saying this. He was prophesying. He was telling his companions that my family are going to suffer after me. This is why he was crying. حَتَّى يَأْتِيَ قَوْمٌ مِّن قِبَلِ الْمَشْرِقِ, until a time comes that community from Mashriq. Mashriq, the Prophet was in Medina. To his east is where? Is Iraq and Iran and these countries. Persia. So the Prophet says a community is going to come from the east, which is Persia. معهم رايات سود فيسألون الخير فلا يعطونه فيقاتلون فينصرون فيعطون ما سألوا فلا يقبلونه حتى يدفعوها إلى رجل من أهل بيتي فيملأها قسطا كما ملأوها جورا فمن أدرك ذلك منكم فليأتهم ولو حبوا على الثلج. The Prophet says this community that comes from the east are going to fight for the truth. They're going to struggle. First of all, they're going to ask peacefully to establish the truth and justice. Nobody is going to listen to them until they have to fight. When they fight, they grab the truth and then they deliver it to a man from my family. A reference to Imam Mahdi. Whoever can catch this group has to join them. وَلَوْ حَبْوًا عَلَى الثَّلْجِ, even if you crawl in ice, even if you crawl in the snow, you must go and join that group. This is Ibn Majah. This is one of the books of Sahih.